Audit your AI visibility. Today I'm joined with Karl Hudson, the founder of Searcheroo. Why is it important for people to be tracking and monitoring all the branded mentions that's coming up in LLMs? Now, there's obviously different LLMs. So you've got ChatGPT, you've got Claude, you've got Gemini, you've got Grok, and you've got many other LLMs. Why is it important to be tracking what is being said, whether that's positive or negative? Because there's times where people could be with query fan out getting, is Searcheroo a scam? Is Searcheroo legit? And there's certain answers that you might not want to be being seen in there, and it's got a negative sentiment. Why is it important to start with to monitor this? So moving forward, you can get great AI visibility and improve upon what's being said.
So one of the fundamentals that you've just kind of hit on there is, if you're not monitoring, how do you know that you haven't got a competitor in your niche who's decided to not let, so with an LLM, you don't need to necessarily make a link. It can just be a mention, and then that'll be picked up within the LLMs. What if you've got a competitor who is quite savvy and decides that he's going to go after your brand, but he's not going to link to you? If you're only tracking links, you're not going to know that's being mentioned, and chances are he's then changing over time the sentiment. If it was a positive, he will in time change it to a negative. And then guess what? Your 24-hour workforce, the LLM, is no longer working for you.
Yeah, I think there's you've touched upon a great topic here, and it's called brandjacking. And I think that a lot of people don't realize is that with query fan out, someone's asking, is Searcheroo the best link building agency? Is Searcheroo the best LLM visibility agency? That with query fan out, it then brings back Searcheroo reviews. It brings back, is Searcheroo legit? Is it a scam? Searcheroo bad reviews. Searcheroo Trustpilot reviews, and lots of different things. And it's trying to get a full picture of everything about it. Searcheroo versus is another one that comes back. Searcheroo alternatives, Searcheroo competitors. And it's trying to get as many of these different search terms, the synthetic queries, to understand, are they good? Are they not good? And I think from what you've just said there's so many people that can end up brandjacking part of their search, which could be the verses and the comparisons and the alternatives, that basically say, Searcheroo are okay, but James Dooley links are better. And then when that consensus keeps being built up, Searcheroo are okay, but James Dooley links are better. Searcheroo are okay, but James Dooley links is better. Then in time, from multiple sources on the internet, Searcheroo are not a bad company, but you might want to try out James Dooley links. Yeah. Next minute before, no one knew who James Dooley links was. Now he's being seen and cited by the LLMs, and you've now grown the visibility in a positive sentiment to me, but dampened it for somebody, let's say, like Searcheroo. Yeah. And I think it's key for the auditing, like you said there, and the monitoring, because then what it also allows you to do is you're able then to turn around and go, it's almost like like reclamation of links. If you can see someone in the old days mentioning your brand, you'd reach out and go, can you give us a link on there, please? Yep. So with regards to certain things being seen, not in a positive way, could you then reach out to that source of what's citing who you are and say, actually, this is incorrect. Can you change it to X, Y, and Z? Or there might be a certain element that somebody else is controlling your brand narrative, that you can then grab back hold of that with positive reviews, positive testimonials, that you've won certain awards. And this is proactive as well, online reputation management. These realms now of the AI resume, anyone that doesn't know what the AI resume is, make sure you check out the link in the description. It's so important nowadays from an online reputation management point of view to be monitoring anything that's negative, turning it into a positive. Can you expand slightly on the AI reputation tree from Searcheroo and the amount of work that's gone into it that goes after everything off page, almost like a full semantic content network that's all feeding each other with information, defining everything about the entity, the attributes, and why they are great? Can you explain why that AI reputation tree is key, but doing it to fulfillment and not having a single source like, oh, I've done 3 listicles, I'm okay, Explain why the full reputation tree is important.
Basically, the tree is the 4 fundamentals, which is defining who you are, what you do, why you're freaking brilliant at it, and then also the competitors and versus. Now, a lot of people go hard in one area. Typically, they go very hard in the first 2 or very hard on the first one, which is just who they are. But then they don't really do much on the servicing front. They don't do much on the reviews front and testimonials front. And they don't really ever mention anything about competitors. And I think that's because it's a very old school mentality with link building and things that you were almost, you don't want to mention a competitor. I am the best. Of course you're the best because it's you who's saying it. Like, no one ever goes into something and thinks they're not good at it, right? And why would you be in a business and you start promoting someone else? And that's kind of the whole reason why the reputation tree was created. The AI reputation tree is, it's to help you understand which elements you're lacking in and which gaps you need to fill, because you need to strengthen the consensus, the confidence score around your entity. So you need to be filling in those gaps. And sometimes it might seem quite minor, but actually have huge results. You can tweak 3 things on a page and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I didn't realize that. I think one example was the business we were involved with, and it was like Yelp reviews, and they had a 3-star overall rating on Yelp. And it was only out about maybe 15 or 20 reviews. So not many to try and get updated with. But because of those reviews, the AI was like literally saying, don't use these guys. They have a negative user experience. People often mention scam. And like this sort of language, it literally took like 4 reviews, which increased the average rating a little bit more, but then with a positive sentiment around it, which then changed the whole, it then became a little bit more sure that actually they've got a neutral rating now. And some users have positive experience, some users have negative. It doesn't take long then for you to keep doing that. And guess what? You make it a positive sentiment. And you sometimes mention it quite on some of your other podcasts, is turning them negatives into a positive is huge as well. And that's something that obviously the report will help you work out, is actually, here's a list of what some negative reviews are. Why don't we turn these into positives?
Yeah, for sure. Anyone who's watching this, I'd strongly recommend checking out the link in the description. I do a full episode talking about AI search monitoring tools, the best LLM visibility tools, and I think it's key moving forward that you should be tracking. It's almost like the rank trackers of old and checking what's going on. But I think it's even more than rank tracking within Google. In AI, checking anything that's negative sentiment or anything that's not fulfilling and filling that actual reputation map needs to be being filled in. So if someone, with regards to now they've set up the LLM visibility tool, and they're saying, okay, there's areas that I want to try to improve upon. And we've spoke about the AI reputation tree, which covers the whole query funnel. How can someone get in touch with Searcheroo to go and order the AI reputation tree?
So at the minute, it's a very custom process. So, you'd have to come on to searcheroo.com, go on the contact form, give us a message. We'll come back to you with a huge list of questions about your brand, entity, everything that we need essentially to try and do our just initial sort of audit of you and whether or not you would be a good fit. And then we'll let you know if you're not, and we'll try and guide you down the right path if you're not, to get yourself ready for being ready for it.
Yeah, I think the big one on it, if you're not a good fit, is because we've done the audit and we've done the survey and checked to see where there might be big gaping gaps that we can't help you with. So we can't go and win you an award. We can't go and get you 20 5-star testimonials. You need to go out of your way to ask your happy customers to get them 5-star reviews. But what we can then do is amplify it everywhere on the internet in specifically the sources that are being recommended by ChatGPT, by Claude, by Perplexity, and these other LLMs. And then what we're able to then do is maybe do some tiered link building, maybe do some virality, loading it into exceptional indexing tool. And we can shout and scream about why you are great to improve the sentiment value of LLM visibility. Make certain you are auditing yourself and tracking with the LLM visibility tools. Karl, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Excellent, mate. Cheers.